Question 11. Equivalent fractions using fraction walls. Number 1. Complete the fraction wall. So, at the top from left all the way to the right represents one whole bar. Directly beneath it, if we take the same distance, but we divide it exactly in half, this part is 1/2, and to its right is another half. From this we see that there are two halves in one whole. Then beneath it, if we take our half up until there, and we divide it exactly in half, we are now working with quarters. You can also see that if we take the whole all the way up until there, and we divide it into 4 equal parts, 1, 2, 3, 4, again, that is why we are working with quarters. So from this we have seen that there are 2 quarters in 1/2, and there are 1, 2, 3, 4 quarters that make up one whole. Lastly, if we divide the whole into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 equal parts, we are working with eighths. There are 8 eighths that make up one whole. Another interesting part is that if we take a quarter and we divide it into 2 equal parts, a quarter divided into 2 means that we are working with eighths. There are 2 eighths in 1 quarter. Lastly, if we divide this half, if we look up until a half, do you notice that in a half there are 1, 2, 3, 4 eighths? There is so much to learn from this fraction wall. Let's have a look. When 2 or more fractions have the same value, these fractions are said to be equivalent. Thus, 1/2, I'm going to draw it here, 1/2 is equivalent to 2 quarters, which is equivalent to 4 eighths. So, whether we write it as 1/2 or 2/4 or 4/8, they look different, but in value they are exactly equal or equivalent. Number 2. Write equivalent fractions. Use the fraction wall above if necessary. So for A, 1/2 or 1/2 is equal to how many quarters? This is what we want to know. As we saw here, 1/2 is equal to 2 quarters. So our missing part is 2 at the top. 1/2 is equal to 2/4. Next, if we look at a quarter, now a quarter is equal to how many eighths? As we saw here, 1 quarter is equal to 1 2/8. So the missing number is 2. If we look at D, 3 quarters is equal to how many eighths? So 1, 2, 3 quarters is equal to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 eighths. So the missing number is 6. Lastly, for F, 4/4, you should know this by now, is equal to 8/8. And both of these are equal to one whole. Press pause to complete 3 in your workbook. Number 4. Now we have another fraction wall. We must complete it. This is one whole from beginning to end. Directly beneath it, we have divided it into 1, 2, 3 equal parts. Therefore, we are working with thirds. 1/3, another third, and our last third. Do you see that there are 3 thirds in one whole? Next, if we take our whole, and again we've divided it, but now we've divided it into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal parts, we are now working with sixths. There are 6 sixths in one whole. Also, if you look, this is equal to 1/3, Now directly beneath it, 1/3 divided into 2 equal parts means that you are left with sixths. There are 2 sixths that make up 1/3. Lastly, we have now divided our one column from here, our one row from here all the way to there into 12 equal parts. We are working with twelfths. You can continue, you can fill these in as I am doing them. There are lots of twelfths. Okay, and all done. Now let's have a look. If we take 1/6 from there to there, do you notice that it is equal to 2 twelfths? There are 2 twelfths that make up 1/6. Let's have a look at number 5. Write equivalent fractions. Use the fraction rule above if necessary. Now 1/3 is equal to how many sixths? As we saw here with yellow, here's 1/3. Now 2 sixths make up 1/3, so our missing number is 2. 1/3 is exactly equal to 2 sixths. Now, if we look at B, 1/3 is equal to how many twelfths? Our number line. Here's 1/3. Now if we look at our twelfths line, we must go all the way to the same point. Now do you see? Up until there, 1/3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 twelfths. This means that 1/3 is equal to 4 twelfths. Let's have a look. For D, we have 2/3 is equal to how many sixths? So we're comparing thirds with sixths. So here's 2/3. And there's our sixths. So, do you see that up until the point of 2/3, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 sixths. Let's look at H. We've got 5 sixths. So, 5 sixths goes from there all the way till that point. That's 5 sixths. Now we want to know how many twelfths is equal to that. So we must go all the way to there. Now let's count in twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this means that there are 10 twelfths in 5 sixths. Do you notice that we times by 2 and we times by 2? That is how we get our answer. Do you notice here? We times by 4 and we times by 4. That is how we got our answer. So for G, without counting here, we times by 2. 4 times 2 means that our answer is 8. If we look at J, 6/6, we know that this is equal to 1 whole. So, to make this equal to 1 whole, we have to make it 12 out of 12. Use what you have learned to complete all of 5 now.